The Crawfords were the perfect family. At least that's how it looked to little 8-year-old Johnny, who lived in the house next door. Johnny often peeked out through the curtains and watched in awe as Dr. Crawford played football and baseball with his 3 sons in the front yard. Sometimes Johnny could hear Dr. Crawford helping the boys with their homework. Then there was Miss Crawford, who made sure the boys had nutritious meals, did their homework, and went to bed on time. But best of all, every night, if Johnny listened hard enough through the thin walls of his bedroom, he could hear Miss Crawford read the boys a bedtime story. She never forgot to tell them how much she loved them, and she always left a nightlight on. She always said, just in case there were monsters. You see, Johnny's parents, Ed and Anita Holsted, had recently been killed in a terrible car crash. Since there were no other relatives, Johnny's Uncle Tim reluctantly took him in. Tim was a bachelor and knew nothing about raising a child. He felt the best he could for Johnny was to make sure he had structure, discipline, and a strong work ethic. So when Johnny wasn't at school, he always had chores to do, such as mowing the grass, cleaning the house, and washing his uncle's car. As the months went on, Miss Crawford would watch Johnny outside working while she supervised her sons playing in the front yard. She started to invite Johnny over to play with her boys when his uncle wasn't home. He'd stay for lunch and read books, color, and play sports with the Crawfords. It was a dream come true for Johnny, and he cherished those days. Eventually, Dr. Crawford was promoted to medical director at a major hospital out of state, and the Crawfords moved away. Johnny was heartbroken, but knew there was nothing he could do. As time went on, the Crawford boys grew up, went to college, got married, and moved away. Sadly, Dr. Crawford had a stroke, but Miss Crawford took care of her husband until he died. She found herself all alone in a big house and was very lonely. The kids were busy with their own lives and had little time for their mother. She often thought of little Johnny and wondered how his life had turned out. She planned to take a trip back to the old neighborhood to see if she could find him. Instead, she found herself in a hospital with severe angina and a possible heart attack. After she was stabilized, a renowned cardiac specialist was brought in to consult on her case. After all, she was the widow of Dr. Crawford. As the specialist entered her hospital room, he looked so familiar, as scanned his face over and over. He quietly sat on the bed next to her and held her hand. He said, "Hello, Miss Crawford. Do you remember me?" Miss Crawford started to cry as she stammered, "It's you, Johnny." He told her all about his life and how he had received a large insurance settlement from the car crash that took his parents from him. But happily, his uncle had saved that money and made sure Johnny was able to go to college and even medical school. He told her he had always wanted to be a doctor, just like Dr. Crawford. They discussed her case, diagnosis, prognosis, and devised a treatment plan. Miss Crawford was going to be fine. Johnny was going to make sure of that. After all, he said, "You saved my life. The least I can do is save yours." As the nurse came in with the dinner tray, Dr. John Holsted introduced the nurse to his mom, Cecilia Crawford. It was dark when Johnny stood up to leave. He promised he would be back tomorrow. As he walked towards the door, he turned on the lamp by her bed. "I want you to rest now," he said, "but I'm turning the nightlight on just in case there are monsters." Tears streamed down Cecilia's face. Dr. Holsted cried too.